Discover how this billionaire's life-changing encounter with a hidden chef exposed incredible joy. Jack Reynolds was an empire unto himself, a billionaire living in a mansion that gleamed under the California sun, overlooking the chaos of the bustling town below. His life revolved around high-stakes board meetings, glittering parties, and fine wine poured in crystal glasses. Yet, amidst this opulence, a yawning emptiness gnawed at him, an echo of something he had long forgotten: genuine human connection. One Sunday, in search of a thrill outside his gilded cage, Jack wandered into a local farmer's market. Bright colors danced around him, fresh produce, homemade jams, and the raucous laughter of families filled the air. For the first time, he felt alive. He inhaled the aroma of basil and tomatoes, memories flooding back of his mother's kitchen, a place filled with love, warmth, and the sheer joy of gathering around a family meal. That was when he met Mia. She stood behind a wooden stall adorned with jars of her homemade sauces, her laughter ringing out like music. Each jar was a burst of vibrant color, each label telling a story of resilience and hope. "It's all about love," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with passion. "You can taste it in every bite." Jack found himself drawn to her infectious spirit, her fierce determination to provide for her daughter, a young girl who had become her reason to strive. As they talked, Jack felt the warmth of camaraderie and genuine connection. Mia's stories of kitchen disasters and the laughter of her neighbors enveloped him like a comforting embrace. For a moment, the walls he had built around himself began to crack. Yet, beneath his admiration lurked a familiar instinct to turn her talents into profit. After all, wealth allowed him to wield power, to change lives, and he could lift Mia into a realm of success. But as he broached the idea, he failed to see how that very offer threatened the heart of what she cherished. "I'd like to help you sell more of this," he said, gesturing toward her sauces. "Imagine what we could do together." But Mia, sensing the undercurrent of his words, recoiled. Anger flared in her chest. "You don't understand. This is about community, not just money." Her terror of losing her roots collided with Jack's privileged naivety, igniting a tension that neither wanted to confront. Just as Jack began to grasp the poignant reality of Mia's life and her unyielding love, a chilling moment shattered their delicate balance. A sudden accident at the market threw chaos into the air. People screamed, jars shattered, and a frantic wave of panic swept through the crowd. Jack's heart raced. As he watched Mia rush towards her stall, uncertainty etched across her face, he realized that their separate worlds were colliding in ways they could never have anticipated. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Jack stood frozen, anxiety coiling in his gut as he watched Mia. Each step she took drew her closer to a storm he had unwittingly helped unleash. What did it take to be brave in the face of change? Would he finally shed the layers of privilege and show Mia that he understood? The question hung in the air, pregnant with tension, as both their fates swirled in the chaos surrounding them. The journey was just beginning, but would they find a way to walk this path together? Jack's heart raced as he witnessed the chaos enveloping the farmer's market. People pushed past him, their faces marked by panic, as if they were fleeing from something monstrous lurking just beyond their sight. He couldn't bear the thought of Mia being caught in the mayhem, so he forced his legs to move, pushing aside the confusion wrapping around him like fog. "Mia," he called, voice rising above the cacophony. But all he could hear were screams and the clattering of shattered jars. His breaths came in quick, shallow gasps, as fear gripped him tighter than the expensive suits on his back. Through the throng, Jack spotted her crouched beside her stall, hands trembling as she gathered the splintered pieces of glass. She looked up, eyes wide with a mixture of desperation and resolve. For a heartbeat, time froze. Their worlds cracked open for that moment, each of them a mirror reflecting the other's vulnerability. "Mia, let me help," he shouted, rushing to her side. She shook her head, her voice almost a whisper amidst the chaos. "No. I can't. This is all I have." Tears streamed down her face. The sight shattered something deep within Jack, opening a door to emotions he had long since suppressed. His instinct was to shield her, to take her away from the chaos. But this was not the time to act as a savior. Instead, he knelt with her, hands fumbling as they picked up the remnants of what had been. Each shard felt like a reminder, a metaphor for what was at stake. "You just can't understand, can you?" Mia said, her voice tinged with frustration. "This is not just business, it's my life. Each jar, each flavor, it's a piece of my heart." "If I lose this, I get it," Jack interrupted gently, his eyes locking onto hers. "But right now, we need to be here. Together." With that simple phrase, the world around them faded slightly. In the midst of the chaos, he didn't see just a struggling chef, he saw a woman fighting for hope, her love spilling over jars that held more than just sauces. They had been thrown together, two different lives colliding in love and ambition, but this moment defined them both. As the crowd dispersed, Jack and Mia worked side by side, the air crackling with unspoken emotions. It was a strange and surreal backdrop, a market littered with broken glass and toppled crates, yet a quiet understanding blossomed like a fragile bud between them. When the last jar lay safely set aside, the real work had only just begun. The panic-stricken energy ebbed, replaced by an emotional exhaustion that soaked in. They stood, faces flushed from exertion, the remnants of the day's tension hanging heavy in the air. "What do we do now?" Mia asked, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "That's the question, isn't it?" Jack replied, glancing at the ruined stall. "Maybe it's about rebuilding together. Maybe it's about redefining what this all means." Their gazes met, a silent exchange passing like a current, rooted in the recognition of a shared struggle. Was this the moment their worlds, so divergent until now, would begin to blend? Yet, the glaring fact remained, the obstacles ahead would be more than glass shards and frantic crowds. Mia broke the silence, a flicker of determination igniting in her eyes. "I can't lose this. It's my dream." The intensity of her focus made Jack's heart pound. "And you won, he promised, the resolve within him solidified by her strength. "Let us face this together, as partners." As Jack spoke those words, he felt a stirring of something unfamiliar, a sense of purpose igniting within the shadows of his previous life. But that flicker of hope was entangled with trepidation. What would it mean to commit to this journey with Mia? Would he truly understand and appreciate the depth of her passion, or was he still caught in the web of his own privilege? Just then, a local news crew emerged from the remnants of the market, cameras rolling, eager to capture the story unfolding amidst the wreckage. The world outside their bubble pressed in, unsettling but unavoidable. "Are you ready for this?" Mia asked, uncertainty flashing in her eyes. Jack took a deep breath. "Ready or not, this is just the beginning." And so, with the cameras poised to catch their every move, they stood at the precipice of transformation, two hearts at a crossroads. Would they find joy and success in their intertwined destinies, or would the past cast shadows neither could escape? His stomach twisted at the thought, questions flooding in as the scene shifted around them. What if this moment ignited something greater than either of them could foresee? The sound of cameras whirring snapped Jack back to reality, and a sudden flash startled him. The bright lights underscored the chaos of the market. Reporters crowded around, their voices a jumbled tapestry of questions and nervous excitement. Jack felt a chokehold of anxiety squeezing his chest. "Can you tell us what happened here today?" One reporter shouted, shoving a microphone towards Mia. Mia's expression tightened. She looked between the camera and Jack, vulnerability flickering behind her eyes. We were just seconds matter. Just a few words to describe your experience?" The reporter pressed, not giving her time to collect her thoughts. Jack stepped in, a protective instinct surging within him. "I think it's important to understand the heart behind the business," he said, his voice steady. "Mia put everything she has into those products." He glanced at her, hoping she'd see his intention to support her. The reporter's gaze shifted to him, intrigued. "And who are you in this story?" Jack hesitated. The truth sat heavy on his tongue. One glance in Mia's direction reshaped his thoughts, as clarity shone through their story was interwoven. "I'm someone who now sees how much passion Mia puts into her craft." Mia's brows furrowed with curiosity, her expression layered. Their partnership had unexpectedly opened new doors, but would Jack's privilege taint their image? The weight of her doubts escaped through a barely audible breath. Behind them, the crowd grew restive, the remnants of chaos still echoing in a subtle tension. Jack could sense Mia's hesitance, the fear of sharing her vulnerability overt turn into something public. Before she could utter another word, a second reporter joined in. "Do you think this incident will impact your business?" Mia straightened, determination sparking in her eyes. "No. If anything, it'll help me grow stronger. I want to let setbacks define me." The drive in her voice pulled Jack closer, a whirlpool of admiration and concern twisting inside him. Could he be as resilient? Did he have the courage to stand beside her on this journey, not just as someone who supported her, but as someone who believed in her vision? As the reporters jotted down notes, Mia turned to him, both of them unplugging from the world momentarily. "Are you sure about this? Sharing this part of my life? I can't promise it won't be a bumpy road." Jack smiled softly. "I wouldn't have it any other way, Mia. I want to be in this with you no matter what." Soft laughter bubbled up from within, echoing their shared vulnerability. The decision to embrace this experience together began to dissolve the walls between them, forming a bridge built of understanding and hope. After the news crew left, the weight of the moment settled in. As people slowly began to reclaim the market, the wreckage of her stall stood stark against the bustling energy. "So what's next?" Mia asked, her voice grounded but thick with urgency. Jack surveyed the chaos around them, a twinge of excitement flaring in his gut. "We start over. This time with a plan, the right plan. We can hold a community event. Get people excited about local talent. You share your story and your passion." Mia's eyes widened. "A relaunch. You think people would come?" "Absolutely," he replied, an invigorating spark igniting in his chest. "Right now, they want hope. You can provide that with every jar you create. It's part of who you are, Mia." Together, they began plotting their next steps, lines crisscrossing on paper with sketches of what their idea could become, a celebration of resilience. In that moment, something precious began to unfold, more potent than either could anticipate. But just as they moved forward, grounded in purpose, their phones buzzed in unison, both lighting up with messages. Jack and Mia exchanged worried glances, the air thickening with uncertainty. "What now?" Mia whispered, her voice trembling as she glanced at the screen. "I don't know, but we're in this together, remember?" Jack took her hand, squeezing it tight as he turned the phone around to show her the notifications. Each showed a similar alarming headline. "Something's happened with local businesses. We need to see what this means for us." The two stood there, hearts pounding, caught between hope and dread. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, it felt like a storm was brewing, one that could either wash away their plans or strengthen them in ways they never imagined. One thing was clear, they were at the edge of something monumental. Would they break, or would they rise, together? The notifications blared like alarm bells, pushing anxiety high into Jack's throat. He and Mia leaned in closer, each reading the glowing headlines that sang a dire tune: "Local business collapse. Market closure announced. Costs rising unprecedentedly. It felt like the ground beneath them was quaking as they tried to make sense of it all. What does this mean for us? Mia's voice quivered, a mix of fear and hope. I mean, are they talking about my stall? Jack's heart raced. Could this truly be connected to Mia? I don't know, but we need to dig deeper. The urgency in his voice squeezed both their chests. They were standing on the precipice of something life-altering, and it was nerve-wracking. He flipped through his phone, scrolling to find any specifics, his nimble fingers racing against the flow of worry that coursed through his mind. One article caught his eye. Mia, look at this, he said, pointing to the screen. There's a series of health violations at the vendor stalls around here. They're shutting them down. Mia gasped, her hands clasping her mouth. But we were going to launch. I can't believe this. We can't panic yet, Jack insisted, that flicker of determination sparking inside him again. We have the chance to turn this around. If we keep moving forward with our plan, maybe we can rally support for you. What if it's not enough? Her voice was a fragile whisper, doubt washing over her face. Jack squeezed her hand tighter, grounding her with certainty. We'll figure this out together. But first, we need to gather information. His mind churned as ideas brewed. Let us reach out to artists, food vendors, anyone who is part of this community. You have supporters who care, Mia. Let us show them we won back down. Mia nodded, her resolve slowly hardening. You're right. I can't let fear control me. The spark of fire returned to her eyes, illuminating the path ahead. We need to organize a meeting, share our vision. Will anyone want to join us amid all this chaos? I believe they will, Jack said, confidence permeating through his words. Hope is contagious. Sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to rise and others will follow. They exchanged ideas quickly, launching plans to harness their resources and create buzz. A tentatively hopeful gathering began to blossom in Mia's mind, a place to unite voices and spirits over creativity and resilience. Just as they locked eyes, a late afternoon market routine enveloped them with fresh light and sounds. Vendors still smiling, customers still browsing. But the anxiety hummed beneath the jovial surface. Would it last? Their phones chimed again, a new message that made them both jump. Jack glanced at his. It's from my sister. She's heard about the chaos and wants to help us spread the word. We can use her connections, local influencers, social media campaigns. It could work. Mia beamed, a flush of warmth sparking through her courage. Girl power, right? She said, her eyes sparkling again, giving life back to their earlier vision. Exactly, Jack chuckled. We'll harness every ounce of support. But just then, the atmosphere shifted. Jack's phone buzzed, this time with a call from his mother. I should take this, he said, his brow furrowed. I'll keep it short. While he spoke, Mia's mind wandered to what lay ahead. She envisioned jars of her sauces being shared, voices lifted in strength and gratitude. Then, just as she breathed in the fresh scent of hopes, the laughter morphed into distant panic. Jack hung up and turned to her, concern etched deep on his face. That was our local health inspector apparently. They plan to close down the entire market soon. What? Mia's heart dropped. When? By tomorrow morning. The weight of impending doom pressed down on their dreams. Jack's grip on Mia tightened, a silent promise to not let despair take room in their hearts. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over their resolved faces, they stood at the edge of a choice. Would they rise to meet the challenge, or let the shadow of fear envelop them? Unearthly stillness encompassed the bustling market. As uncertainty loomed like dark clouds on the horizon, leaving them questioning everything. One question lingered in the air: could they rally a community before it was too late? As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. Jack and Mia stood frozen, grappling with the weight of their reality. The market around them buzzed with life, but their world felt constricted to a tight frame of urgency and fear. What could they do in such a short time? "We need a plan," Jack said, cutting through the tension. "Let us mobilize. Social media can be our biggest weapon. We can create a campaign that not only highlights your sauces but also celebrates the community." Mia's eyes darted around the market, already imagining a rallying cry that could echo down the streets. A spark ignited within her. "What if we host a pop-up event tonight? We can invite everyone a last hurrah for the market. If we create an atmosphere of excitement, people will show up. They'll want to fight for it." Jack nodded, enthusiasm flooding back to him. "Yes. We can bring in local musicians, have some food samples, and showcase your sauces. Make it an event where the community can feel the heart of what we're fighting for." As they strategized, Mia felt the pulse of her dream quickening. "I can put together a few small dishes showcasing my sauces. I'll even offer samples, and if people love it, they can place pre-orders. This could be the push we need to show that our market deserves to stay." "Awesome." Jack was practically bouncing on the balls of his feet. "Let us hit the phones. We'll get your friends, the other vendors, anyone who believes in this place to come out." Mia's fingers flew over her phone screen, sending out messages, calling friends, reaching for support. It felt like she was lighting matches, igniting hope among those who might have already dimmed their own. As people responded, a wave of energy surged through her. Each yes turned into a heartbeat, pulsing with vitality. With every agreed commitment, Mia's resolve solidified. This was her moment, and she wouldn't waste it. "Let us grab supplies," Jack suggested, excitement coursing through him. "If we can get the essentials to make a few dishes, we can draw people in with the smell alone." The two rushed through the market, gathering what they needed. Vegetables, spices, jars, everything felt electric, as if their actions were orchestrated by a symphony of purpose. Mia's heart was racing. But in the midst of her excitement, doubt lingered, whispering in the deepest corners of her mind. What if it still wasn't enough? What if they couldn't pull this off? Suddenly, a voice broke through her moments of uncertainty. "Mia. Is that you?" It belonged to Lisa, a fellow vendor known for her artisanal pastries. Her eyes sparkled with joy. "I heard about the market closing. Is it true?" "Yes," Mia replied, breathless but hopeful. "But we're organizing a last-minute event tonight. Will you help us?" Without hesitation, Lisa declared, "Count me in. I'll bring some of my best treats to share." With each vendor that joined their cause, hope ballooned in Mia's chest. This wasn't just an event, it was a movement. They decorated a makeshift stage with colorful streamers, hung twinkling lights, and set up tables to showcase their goods. As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, the first flickering lights activated a warmth that transcended the tension of the day. "Look at this!" Jack exclaimed, eyes wide as they surveyed the scene. "Everyone is here. This is happening." Tension eased back into the night, replaced with laughter and connection. Vendors shared their stories with those passing by, drawing in customers who caught the intoxicating scent of freshly cooked food. "Do you believe this is happening?" Mia turned to Jack, her heart swelling with gratitude. He smiled, eyes locked onto hers. "Together, we can create something unforgettable." But just as the laughter pierced through the night air, Jack's phone buzzed violently in his pocket. He pulled it out, face draining of color as his eyes scanned the text. "Mia, it's the health inspector. They're here." Panic seized the moment, freezing the hopeful atmosphere around them. Would their efforts be derailed? Would moments of joy be snuffed out? As the crowd began to murmur in apprehension, one question blasted through Mia's mind: could they really fight this battle and protect what they built together? With the night hanging heavy, the path ahead lay shrouded in uncertainty. Mia stood at the edge of the bustling crowd, her heart racing. Laughter and music filled the air, but it all felt fragile now. Jack glanced at her, his face tight with concern. The joyful energy that just moments ago buoyed them both now seemed at risk of imploding. "Do you want to go talk to him?" Jack asked, referring to the health inspector who had just walked into the market. His presence loomed large, an uninvited shadow over their spirited gathering. Mia shook her head, her thoughts a whirlwind. "No, we can't let fear control this moment. We have to keep the crowd engaged. If they see us worried, it'll only stir more panic." Steeling herself, she took a deep breath and projected her voice to the gathering. "Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Let us celebrate our community. We have amazing food, music, and great people. Let us make some noise." The crowd cheered, and for a fleeting moment, the heaviness lifted. But deep inside, doubt still gnawed at her. Could they turn the tide of bureaucracy into something they could wield? As the music played, Mia began prepping her sauces, plating small samples that burst with flavor. Her hands moved instinctively, yet her mind raced with thoughts of the inspector. What kind of standards were they under? Did her sauces even meet them? "Hey, Mia!" A voice called out. It was one of her friends, Daniel, and his eyes brightened at the sight of her work. "What do you have for us today? Try this," she urged, presenting a sample of her zesty salsa verde. As he took a bite, his expression changed immediately. "Oh wow! This is amazing!" Others began to gather, intrigued by the growing crowd. Mia felt a surge of hope. If the flavors could speak for her, maybe she could rally enough support. She watched as Daniel called over a friend, who in turn spread the word. "Your sauces are something special," Jack said, his voice rising with enthusiasm as he handed out more samples. "Keep them coming." Suddenly, the inspector's voice pierced through the atmosphere. "Excuse me. Can I have your attention?" The crowd faltered, and Mia felt her heart drop. She could see the tension mounting in Jack's eyes. "Do you have the necessary permits to be operating here?" The inspector's gaze swept over the vendors, and Mia braced herself, anxiety almost tangible. "We have permits for our regular stalls, but this is a special event in support of the market," Mia quickly explained as she stepped forward, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. "We love this community and want to show what we can offer." The inspector remained impassive. "I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I need to ensure everything is up to code." He paused, assessing the situation. "I can't overlook it if things are not compliant." Everyone held their breath, waiting for the hammer to fall, but Mia refused to give in. "We're committed to making this right. If you'll give us a chance, I know my sauces can capture your heart, just like they have with everyone here." For a moment, it felt like eternity. Then, the inspector raised an eyebrow, his tough exterior softening slightly. "All right, let us see what you've got." Mia flicked her gaze to Jack, who looked at her with a mix of disbelief and hope. It was a risk, but this was her moment to shine. With renewed determination, she launched into a passionate explanation of each sauce, the stories behind them, and how they connected back to the community. The music played on, the crowd buzzed, and she could sense their collective support. Just as she was finding her rhythm, the inspector's expression shifted again, but this time it was thoughtful. "You know, I've never met a vendor quite like you. If you can share what you have here tonight and gather some paperwork by Monday, I can help you present it to the council." The crowd erupted in cheers, joy transforming the uncertainty in air. Mia felt tears prick at her eyes. "Thank you. We will." She breathed, her heart soaring, but before she could celebrate, Jack squeezed her shoulder. "Wait, Mia. What if this is just a temporary fix? What can we do long term?" Mia swallowed Hard, a mix of adrenaline and realization flooding through her. This fight wasn't over. It just transformed into a new chapter. As she gathered her focus, she heard the music swell, the crowd cheering, her dream brightening in ways she never thought possible. But what if turning tides brought new challenges? How would they maintain this momentum once the thrill of the night faded into a new reality? Mia stood in the center of the crowd, heart pounding in her chest. The cheers still echoed in her ears, the energy intoxicating. Jack was beside her, a protective presence, his eyes scanning the sea of familiar faces. She felt buoyed by their support but knew this was just the tip of the iceberg. They had a battle ahead, and it wasn't just about her sauces. The inspector was now jotting down notes, his attention shifting from the crowd's jubilant mood to the paperwork Mia needed to prepare. "Are you ready for this?" Jack asked, squeezing her hand lightly, grounding her in the present. "You've got a big challenge ahead." "Yeah, but if I can impress him tonight, we can build on that. I have to gather everyone on board, show them that this isn't just about me, it's about the market." Her voice was steady, conviction shooting through her like an electric current. "We have to foster this sense of community." Jack nodded, a flicker of pride in his blue eyes. "You're the one to do it, Mia. You've already captured their attention." As they moved through the crowd, Mia could feel the excitement in the air. People were genuinely engaged, chatting and sharing their own experiences. She caught snippets of conversations, compliments on her sauces, questions about the market's future, and an underlying sense of urgency to protect this space they all cherished. "Can you believe how they reacted?" Daniel approached, grinning from ear to ear. "You've got something special here." "Let us keep that momentum going," Mia urged, her pulse quickening. "We need to organize something, like a petition or a community meeting. If we can show the council how much this space means to everyone, they can't say no." "I'll help." Daniel jumped in, already strategizing in his mind. "Everyone here wants to support you. We can create flyers, get people to share their stories." Mia felt hope begin to blossom again, but as she glanced back toward the inspector, a weight settled in. They needed more than just enthusiasm, they needed a plan. That plan started forming around her in the flicker of conversation. The music faded, replaced by urgent whispers. People began approaching her with ideas, sharing personal stories that tied them to the market. Each tale added another thread to the fabric of their community. Suddenly, a confident voice rang out, reshaping the energy. "Hey everyone, Mia needs us. Let us help her gather signatures tomorrow, and make sure we're all on the same page. This market is ours, and we can't let anything take it away." A wave of agreement rippled through the crowd, and before she knew it, Mia was at the helm of something larger than she had ever envisioned. Yet, as cheers erupted, her mind raced with what lay ahead. Monday was looming. There would be meetings, paperwork, and discussions that could define their future. Facing Jack, she whispered, "This isn't just a temporary fix. It's the beginning of something huge. But what if we can't sustain it? What if we can't keep everyone's support?" Jack met her gaze, silencing her fears with a steady look. "You'll keep it going. You're the heart of this place, Mia. Just keep speaking from that heart." "Yeah, but what if they don't see the value? What if the council doesn't care?" As doubt clouded her mind, Mia noticed the energy in the crowd shift again. She could sense it, there was an undercurrent of unity stronger than she had anticipated. And yet, fear lingered just beneath the surface, gnawing at her hope. "Let us take this step by step. Gather people tomorrow, talk to them, remind them why this public space matters," Jack urged. Mia nodded, her determination firming again, yet anxiety pulsed in her chest. They were standing on a precipice, ready to leap into the unknown. Would they soar, or would they crash? As the last notes of the music faded, and the crowd began to disperse, Mia felt the weight of her responsibility settling heavily. The inspector's words echoed in her mind, "Gather the paperwork by Monday." Could she really pull it all together in time? With her heart set on a brighter future, she took a deep breath, whispering a silent promise to herself. But would that be enough to fight off the looming shadows threatening their precious market? And just how far was Mia willing to go to protect what she loved? As the evening stretched into the night, Mia found herself at the edge of the market, leaning against the cool brick wall of her favorite food stall. The faint scent of her herbs still lingered in the air, mixing with the sweet aroma of fresh pastries coming from a nearby vendor. The warmth of the day began to fade, but a fire ignited within her, fueled by the collective determination of her community. Jack stood beside her, arms crossed, trying to gauge her thoughts. "What is going through your mind?" he asked, his voice low but filled with encouragement. Mia focused on the stars just starting to pop through the twilight. "I just can't shake this feeling. What if Monday comes and we're not ready? What if I can't convince the council?" Jack turned to face her, his expression serious. "You can't think like that, Mia. Remember what we talked about earlier? The community's behind you. They want this market to succeed as much as you do." She took a deep breath and let the cool night air fill her lungs. "Yeah, but they need me to lead them. I have to be the one with all the answers." "Leaders aren't just the ones with answers, Mia. They're the ones who inspire others to find their own," he replied, a spark of understanding in his eyes. Mia nodded, letting his words settle in. A tiny piece of doubt still pinned her heart, but Jack's unwavering faith acted as a counterweight. "Okay. Tomorrow, we gather everyone. We show them what's at stake." "Exactly." He smiled, the tension in his shoulders easing. "And I'll be right there with you. We'll map everything out tonight, then execute it tomorrow." The night grew deeper, the sounds of the market hushed as a few vendors started packing up. Yet, even in quiet moments, Mia could feel the electricity of their purpose humming in the air. "I just want this to mean something," she said softly. "For all of us." They turned to head home, but just before they reached the exit of the market, a familiar voice called out. "Mia." "Jack." It was Daniel, his energy as vibrant as ever despite the late hour. He skidded to a stop beside them, breathless and excited. "I overheard some people talking over at the stall. Everyone's buzzing. They want to get involved. I think we can even gather enough signatures tonight." Mia felt her heart lift and a rush of gratitude poured over her. "Really? That's amazing. Let us do it." Daniel nodded vigorously. "Let us set up a table right here. We can ask people to share what this market means to them. The more personal stories we collect, the more powerful our case will be on Monday." Mia's pulse quickened. "That's brilliant. It'll resonate with the council if they see how connected people are to this place. Let us get going then." Jack chimed in, clapping Daniel on the back. No time to waste. They quickly gathered supplies from nearby stalls, a table, and pens, and organized themselves. Mia watched as people began to filter over, curiosity lighting up their faces. As she shared her vision for the community market, the excitement grew palpable. Hours slipped by as the night drew on, filled with laughter, shared stories, and a collective fire that burned brighter than Mia could have imagined. One woman stood up, sharing how the market had been a lifeline during tough times. A young man described how he had met his partner over fresh apples at a stand. Each tale added layers to their mission, fortifying her spirit against the gnawing doubts that had plagued her earlier. But when a heavy silence fell over them, Mia glanced up to see a group of faces she recognized. The inspector and a couple of council members loomed at a distance, watching their gathering with narrowed eyes. An uneasy feeling washed over her. Would they see this as a threat, or as the community spirit? "You ready for this?" Jack asked, watching her expression closely. Mia squared her shoulders, and resolve taking hold within her. "I have to be," but just as she steeled herself to approach, a thought struck her: what if everything she built tonight could vanish in an instant? With the inspector's gaze fixed on them, Mia felt the stakes rising higher than ever before. But in that moment of uncertainty, she knew one thing for sure: she had the support of her friends, and together, they could navigate this storm. As she stepped forward, a surge of hope surged through her. Would they stand with her when it mattered most? The answer depended on what happened next. Mia took a deep breath, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The moment felt charged, every whispered story from the night echoing in her mind. She was not just fighting for a market, she was standing for her community, their joy, and their shared dreams. The council members lingered a few feet away, arms crossed and expressions stern. Mia swallowed her nerves and began to approach them. Jack followed closely, a reassuring presence beside her. "Excuse me," she called, her voice steadier than the flutter in her stomach. The council members turned, their gazes piercing as they focused on her. "What's all this, Mia?" one of them asked, an older man with gray hair and an air of authority. She gathered her thoughts, unsure if the words she crafted in her mind would translate into reality. "We're here to share what the market means to our community. It's not just a place to sell goods, it's a lifeline, a gathering point, a heartbeat." As she spoke, the crowd began to echo her sentiment. The woman from earlier stepped forward again, voice strong and no longer hesitant. "I've come to this market during the hardest of times. It's where I found friends when I felt alone." Mia glanced back at the council. They seemed to soften, their expressions shifting just slightly. Encouraged, she continued, "People connect here. They share moments, laughter, love. We're standing here not just for ourselves, but for everyone who relies on this space." Daniel chimed in, his voice ringing with enthusiasm. "And we want to collect stories. We believe every voice matters. If the council sees how much this means to us, maybe they'll understand it too." Mia could see the uncertainty in the council's eyes begin to waver. But there was still a wall between them and acceptance. She pushed forward, leaning into her authentic passion. "Change is scary, I know. But we can't let fear dictate our dreams. Look around you. This is what real community looks like." Jack stepped up beside her, grounding her in the moment. "Everyone here believes that if we come together, we can save this market. It's not just about us. It's about our future." A murmuring began among the crowd, their voices rising in agreement. Mia felt the warmth spreading through her, each nod of affirmation like a spark adding to the fire. She could see other council members shifting in response, considering their words. "Perhaps we should hear them out," another council member suggested, glancing at her colleague. Mia's breath hitched. They needed a crack in the wall, a chance to push through. "We're ready to work with you. Let us show you what this place can be," she urged, vulnerability mixing with determination in her tone. As silence enveloped them for a moment, Mia sensed the collective hope hanging in the air. Destiny was hanging by a thread, and it swayed precariously with each passing second. Then, a voice broke through, calling their attention. "If we can take this to the council meeting, what else can we share? What if we could showcase the stories, the people?" It was a voice Mia recognized, someone from the crowd, the baker whose pastries filled the air with sweetness during market days. The idea bloomed, bright and vibrant, igniting the gathering further. Stories, visuals, everything they held sacred could be transformed into tangible evidence of their resolve. Mia felt fire in her veins. This was what she wanted: a connecting point, a rallying cry. Yes. We could coordinate a presentation. Let us show them our faces, our laughter, our struggles. Let them see how much this means to us. A wave of nods and murmurs surged through the crowd. Was it truly within their grasp? The support swelled around her, promising strength. But in the soft glow of those prepared to fight, did she truly believe the council could be swayed? What if Monday came, and it all crumbled under the weight of bureaucracy. The uncertainty loomed large, but the flicker of hope held stronger. With hearts pounding and spirits entwined, they rushed toward the future that felt just within reach. Would the council's decision honor their voices, or shatter the dreams they worked so hard to reconstruct? The tension mounted as Mia stood ready to lead them into the heart of the conflict, where everything was about to change. The sun broke through the clouds on that fateful Monday, illuminating the farmers' market with a warm, golden glow. It was a stark contrast to the storm of worry brewing in Mia's heart. Today was critical. As people trickled in, many wore expressions of hope mixed with apprehension. They were here to fight for more than just vegetables and homemade sauces. They were standing up for a lifeline that connected their community. Jack stood beside Mia, coffee in hand, his unwavering smile an anchor amidst the whirlpool of emotions. "We're ready for this," he said, eyes twinkling with belief. Mia nodded, though the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. "I just hope the council sees how vital this market is to everyone." She scanned the crowd, noting familiar faces and how they interacted with each other, laughter mingling with the early morning air. It filled her with both anxiety and strength. As the town hall meeting commenced, they gathered in a small, crowded room, echoes of chatter bouncing off the walls. Each vendor prepared to present their stories, moments that encapsulated love, resilience, and hope. Mia felt their anticipation humming in the air, a collective heartbeat that resonated deeply. When their turn finally came, Mia stepped forward to address the council, the room growing quiet. "Thank you for allowing us to speak today. We are here not only as vendors but as a community," she began, a tremor of purpose traveling through her. "This market symbolizes more than business, it's where friendships bloom and lives intertwine. It gives everyone a place to belong." The council members exchanged glances, some softening, yet skepticism still loomed. "Just last week, I witnessed a mother come to this market for the first time," Mia continued, voice gaining strength. "She was new in town, a single parent searching for connection. The moment she walked through those gates, she found not just food but a network of support." The baker, Lisa, chimed in, her warmth wrapping around the room. "And it's not just about the goods. It's about sharing traditions, recipes that span generations." Nods followed, the passion behind each story igniting something within those who listened. Danny, the musician, shared his struggles and how the market helped him rediscover his love for creating. Each voice layered on another, building a tapestry woven with hopes, dreams, and a deep-rooted desire for community cohesion. As they spoke, Mia caught the eye of the inspector, who appeared contemplative. Would he finally realize the heart behind this market? When they finished, silence enshrouded the room. The council members whispered amongst themselves, a cloud of deliberation heavy in the air. Mia's heart raced. Had they done enough? Then, one of the council members, a woman with kind eyes and gray-streaked hair, stood up. "You've all clearly shown today how important this market is to your community. While there have been violations, I believe we can work together to ensure compliance and preserve the heart of this space." Mia's breath caught, and relief washed over the crowd like a wave. "Thank you. Together, we can fix this," she exclaimed, her eyes glistening with gratitude. The discussion shifted to solutions. Mia felt her heartbeat quicken, visions of future gatherings, food festivals, and moments of shared laughter spinning in her mind. They were not just fighting to save a market, they were crafting a legacy. Hours later, as they left the meeting room, Mia turned to Jack, a radiant smile breaking through. "We did it. They see us. Together," he said, pride swelling in his chest. "You led this and brought everyone together. This is just the beginning of something incredible." Mia's hand clutched his tightly, her heart overflowing with warmth. All the doubts, all the fear, they melted away, replaced by the vibrant love from her community. They had transformed uncertainty into a mission that transcended individual goals. As they stepped back into the bustling market, the aroma of fresh produce and spices enveloped them like a well-worn blanket. The energy was electric, people were mingling, laughter echoed like music, and families walked hand in hand. Mia raised her arms, feeling the joy radiate from the core of who she was. Each vendor had a dream, and they were united stronger than ever. Moments later, as the sun descended, casting long shadows, the market became a symphony of voices. Jack leaned down, whispering, "Are you ready for the future?" "More than ever," Mia replied, her heart swelling with courage and conviction. Together, they had built an unbreakable chain of support, a family rooted in love, resiliency, and hope. The world was open before them like a blank canvas, full of possibilities. This was not just the end, but the beginning of their beautiful story. If you felt that pulse of hope and that magic of community spirit like Mia did, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and keep this positivity flowing. Comment your reactions and feelings about this uplifting ending. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this amazing transformation. You need to share, it makes a difference. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the love. Let us uplift each other.